Hey everybody, thanks for checking out my latest video. So with the advent of the new leagues in Sorare football, I and the Premier League, I actually bought a bunch of cards and did some adjusting around. So I just want to go over real quick and some of my results and some of what I put in. On the NBA, 2 weeks ago, I almost won a limited card out of 100,000. That would have been one of my multiples. Came in that really close because top 1,000 wins that. Didn't win anything. And then the next week, I'm this week I'm so close to it again to winning a limited. Um, if he can come in good, I'm pretty close. This one's going to win a high common, but didn't do that great into the contenders and the champions. So I decided I wanted to go more into the football, the soccer, because they're instituting all these leagues, and you can use the commons from the ones and the other. So I actually transferred in some ETH and sold some of my good cards for the NBA, like the Sengun and Rozier, both of which I won. So didn't really cost me anything. Sold a base MLB card as well. So on the football. So just real quick, last week they instituted the amateur leagues, and I put my picks up on here, basically of who I went with, and you can see my La Liga team finished about top 5%. Dembele let me down a lot, but that's pretty damn good showing. Bundesliga team finished about top, 13, 15%. Jonas Vind let me down, but good team there. The Serie A team finished about top 20%. Pretty nice team there. Like that one. My French was the weakest of them. 40 percentile. Mbappe, now Van Boomen's, these are doing good. This Ben Yedder and Mbappe, it's been inconsistent. Then my other ones, I had these throwaway cards, not throwaway, but these were the cards, some of the cards I had from before. Probably a year or 2 years ago, I was trading the cheap cards fairly regularly, flipping a lot and whatnot, but I don't have many left. This guy actually sold because I'm focusing on the major four leagues because he rallied. He popped. And then just in this little shortened week, this guy didn't even play. My goalie that I bought recently for 14 isn't playing for Turkey, so I may need to try to dump him. He was one of the only limited goalies I had. Then my French team, again, I put in Golovin, Mbappe. This isn't working out. I'm going to probably go with Messi and see if I can see how I can do this. If I get down to 40-40, this low price goalkeepers had two good games in a row, so I'm going to keep him in. This isn't working. And then if I have the Messi, I can actually use that in the regular the new professional league 270s. So I decided I wanted to fill these, and like I said, I brought in some Ethereum, and I didn't have any goalkeepers limited in these. So what I started with was, well, first let me show you my Premier League team because that's the new contest I wanted. A lot of people are getting into. Look, 157,000 people. Now, first thing about these contests is I thought they were going to have an ongoing leaderboard, and I assume they are, which is going to give prizes maybe monthly, like much better chance of getting a limited card, and I hope they do. So far, kind of like the Global Cup. So far, they haven't shown that, though. And if they do, I have some good teams going, but so far there's not a leaderboard, because if you see on here, like it'll show like global, but not a continuing over one. So I assume they're going to have that. Otherwise, it's basically just a way to grab a good common and get these a very, very small chance of getting a limited. And if that is the case, then I would probably encourage you to get like two stud limiteds commons that you could use in your other leagues if you need them. But anyway, such as a goalie and a top outfield player. So I may have to end up changing those around, but we'll see. So my Premier League, I went contrarian. Okay, basically. First, I was going to go with, hopefully these amounts won't change. Let me see. First, I was going to go with Haaland and Rashford. I mean, obviously, Erling Haaland at 57 is a steal. His numbers are not that great though, so rare wise, because he just kind of floats and gets goals. So if he doesn't get a goal, his numbers are actually not that great. But obviously, that would be the guy to get, and I still may switch it up. The midfielder, the obvious one to get is Saka, in my opinion, for 61. Possibly De Bruyne. This is looking at highest picked. Bruno's so expensive. And then there's all these new Grealish. There's all these new transfers in. Perisic for 45 look actually like a decent one. And there's all the new transfers in. I don't know how they're going to. Declan Rice was another one at 51. But I took off Saka. I basically redid my team and made it a little more contrarian. So the other forward one that everybody wants is Nketiah, Eddie, on Arsenal, scoring a couple goals in the last big game at 40. So he's going to be one to lock in. Tony at 54. I mean, Alan St. Maxim at 4. How's he been doing? He hasn't been doing that much. Anyway, you can see the top pick ones there. Then with defenders, the obvious one, or basically the team I first picked was a chalk team because I had Lissandro, I had Haaland and Rashford, I had Saka, and then I had Lloris, who is a good deal at 41, but he had a good game last game. He just was so bad in the World Cup, like in the final, and he's just not been good in the league at all. But and I think the other one to get would be Ederson. That's actually who I first had. I know Man City lets in a lot of goals, but he's on such a great team, and he's a talented player. So Lloris, but I ended up so when I went contrarian, I decided Rashford and Nketiah. Basically, what I decided after looking at it was that Trippier on defense, even though he's 75, he's so far above the other defenders in his scoring that I decided I wanted to put him in. And that basically changed it all around. Now I forget who my other backup, I think it was Christian Romero. So once you have a 75 in there, that limits your choices quite a bit. So then I said, well, I got to get Nketiah. Midfielders, I ended up going for Guimaraes, Newcastle. So I have 2 Newcastle. I mean, they're high up in the league. Whether they'll stay there, is a question. If you look at Guimaraes, he's had a little bit of a downturn, but some of that was Brazil in the World Cup. And if he gets back to his previous form, he was very strong for 51. Then I sort of went with an Arsenal stack because I took one of our favorites, Granit Xhaka, at 54. He's turned into under Arteta. He's really blossomed into kind of a attacking midfielder, playmaker almost. A much different player than he used to be, and his numbers show that. So I figured this was pretty contrarian, having 1 Man United, 2 Arsenal, 2 Newcastle, no Haaland, no Saka. It is what it is. Then I believe for defenders, I think I went with this. Where'd he go? He was on there a minute ago. I could have sworn. Kyle Walker would be an interesting one, but he hasn't been. He was hurt. I think I went with Christian Romero. I'll have to double check that. And then goalkeeper, I decided on Emiliano Martinez over Ederson. I think that was due to a point differential, but also he's been good, including in the World Cup. But let me see. Defender, that left me 41. Who did I pick? I actually can't remember right now. If I exit out, it should show my team. So I definitely went contrarian with this one. I first had a total chalk team, and I said, well, let me just try something different. Trippier, yeah, I did pick Christian Romero for Tottenham. And Granit Xhaka, Rashford, Nketiah, and Guimaraes. So starting Captain Trippier. We'll see. I may end up changing it up. But I basically, if you look at Trippier, If you look at defenders in the Premier League, let's just do a basic search like this. I'm sorry, I didn't set the league up. Okay. Look at Trippier's numbers: 74, 75, 68. Thiago Silva's the closest one. He's 38 years old on Chelsea. Shar, I guess. But there's no really guys putting up like midfield. Wan-Bissaka, Laporte. I don't know what his playing status is. So I went ahead and decided I'm just going to go for him. His scores are unreal for a defender, and just the difference between him and the other ones in the league, that I went ahead and decided to do that. So contrarian play, I guess you could say, because he's so expensive. So there's my Premier League team. On my other teams, I think I swapped out. I ended up swapping out Wind, and I had to get him back. I had to on the Bundesliga one. I ended up putting Wirtz as a starter and picking up Thuram, and then this Hincape as my defender. And then Kimmich as a starter. So we'll see how that goes. On the Serie A team, I didn't make any changes. That team did very good, and I'm going to roll with it. I got 2 Atalanta, Lazio, 2 Atlanta, 2 Lazio, 2 Napoli. Actually, 2 Lazio. Yeah, 2 swell. The French league, I want to make some changes. I ended up putting Ben Yedder back in. I made a change midweek, and that didn't work out. I'm going to end up probably getting Messi. Picked up this Lepennant on Olympique Lyon, 44, a good young player. So I have 2 Lyon players. This Perrin got hurt. I got to swap him out. So my French team, I want to make a change too. And then the La Liga, I wanted to put in Lewandowski. However, just the way the setup is this week, it didn't quite fit right. So I ended up putting Sorare in for Dembele. I'm planning on putting in Lewandowski, but I want to get the right prices on these so it fits right. So I have Pedro, Oblak, Eder, Benzema, and then I put Sorare in. I needed another midfielder or striker. And then I have Yunus Musa on the bench, and Maffeo was one I added from Mallorca. But I want to get Lewandowski in there. I just got to work out the pricing right on this and the matchup. Okay, so as far as who I bought, first I looked for goalies from the big 4 leagues that were the cheapest and that were starting. And I came up with this Fernandez from Aitor Fernandez from Osasuna. And Osasuna is the big thing with a lot of these is you want players from teams that aren't going to get relegated, most likely, because that's what can hurt you. That's where they'll lose value going forward. Osasuna is doing pretty well. They're not getting relegated in all likelihood, and their defense is really good. So I went with Aitor Fernandez, and he got off to a good start, actually. I bought him before this. But the La Liga was the first ones I bought, and actually those I did make a couple I don't really like on that, because I bought a guy who's not going to be starting, and I messed up, especially for the prices I paid. So I ended up I already had this Daconem, who's been doing good for Getafe, I believe. These are guys I had from before. I had these 2 from before, so I actually had the most La Liga of the big 4. So I didn't. But what I bought was this Condogobia on Atletico Madrid, and they put him back on the bench, it looks like. And I wasn't aware of that. I bought it a little too early, and I paid 19 for it, and it's already dropped to 10. That was a mistake. And then I bought Enes Unal from Getafe. Don't really like that one that much either, the striker. So I have a little bit of a Getafe stack. So, but because Condogobia, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, isn't supposed to start, then I had to mess with my team and ended up putting Mascarell in. But then that it did allow me to put Pedri in, but I still have 11 points left over. So because I didn't start Condogobia, I started Mascarell, then the Getafe guys, and hopefully Getafe won't get relegated. They're down there, but their goal differential is not that bad. Hopefully they'll at least pop up. If you look at the points, Elche is really the only one that looks really bad. So I basically bought this Enes Unal and the Condogobia, and then the Fernandez, the goalie, stuck that in. But the cool thing is I get Pedri in there at 63, and I have 11 points under the cap. So that's actually could be a good team. I don't get him as a captain, obviously. So then the next ones I bought, then the next one was, let's see. Okay, so then this, the German keeper, Rafał Giekowicz, sorry if I'm mispronouncing these, on Augsburg. They are not in the relegation zone. Their goal differential's not too bad, so I'm a little more confident. I like that one because Bochum and Schalke seem like they're going to be the two, and then maybe the others will fight out for the third. And I was looking for somewhat reasonably priced goalkeepers who put up some points. Got him. So then I built a Bundesliga team because I didn't have any Bundesliga players that were limited level. So I went for because I have a Kimmich I can throw in, and if not him, somebody else. So I didn't need to get super duper one, but I'm looking for bargains. So I got Vidmer for $450 from Mans. Again, the guys from the weaker teams are going to be the cheaper ones. Mans is sort of mid-table. I got Richter. I'm looking for younger players also, by the way, but especially as I went along. But 29, 24, 28. Goalies 33. I got younger players on the other teams where I didn't get a goalie on them. Richter on Hertha Berlin. They're down there in the bottom. Hopefully can avoid it. Strikers are hard to come by. Our forwards are hard to come by for not that expensive. I can show you these on SorareData, but then I got Cans as a midfielder from Cologne. They're sort of mid-table. Picked him up for, I think, 10. So what that gave me was, well, you can see where I bought him at there. What that gave me for the Bundesliga is, so the Bundesliga and La Liga are the two where I have a goalie, and that allows me to use my best like common. So that was one reason I didn't get even. I was looking a little bit at the 15, so I have 7 points left over currently. So I have Giekowicz, Vidmer, Kans, Richter, and then Kimmich. So, and I made Kane's the captain. That's where I used the matchup thing on SorareData, where that, and also PlaySharper.com. The research I did wasn't on Sorare for these in general. Okay, so then the cards I bought. Then the Italian and the French keepers weren't a good enough deal for what I had in there in my account and what I wanted to spend as far as putting more in. I think I put $50 more in. So I ended up buying, let's see. So the French League, I ended up getting two from, I believe from Brest. He's on Brest. Kamara's on Brest. Midfielder, 23 years old. putting up good numbers. He's actually owned by Saint Etienne, and they're in the lower division, but I think they're going to be having to dump their players like this because he's on loan with option to buy anyway, I believe. He's putting up good numbers. I could show you these on SorareData. And then I got the striker, Le Duran, who's 24 also for Brestois. And you can see on Ligue 1, Brest is down here. Right now it looks like Auxerre and Angers are going to be relegated. I mean, possibly Ajaccio, but hopefully these ones will stay safe. They're obviously not. They get more. The cards are more expensive for more top of the table players because they can play in Europe and whatnot. But what I'm hoping to see is how it plays out, how the scoring comes in. If I can hit in the top 10% on a given week, maybe here and there I can win a free limiteds and boost my team up. I bought Viteska, defender, Polish on Claremont. You can see his numbers there. And again, he's only 25, at least when the card was printed. Then I got Chiravella, Spanish player on Nantes, who is a better team. But all these are young players, so maybe I can make some money flipping the cards themselves if they've come on some. You can see Nantes and Claremont. Claremont's actually upper mid-table, and Nantes is kind of around there too. They're basically mid-table. So then, and you can see the prices I got them for there. That one I made an offer a little bit below the market. Then for Serie A, again, I didn't buy a goalie. So I've got two guys off of Udinese. And Udinese is generally a good team. I mean, look at they're right there. They could hit a European spot. It was sort of like my budget was adjusting depending on which team I bought. But I got Success and Sousa Silva, midfielder and forward, 25 and 26 years old, starting forward. I believe Wallace is Brazilian, puts up a lot of steady numbers. Then defenders, actually may want to switch him out. I bought him before I bought another one, so I may want to get another limited one, a bit more upside. But I got the Sumaro for 5 before I realized I wanted to get a little better one from Bologna. If you look at the Serie A table, Bologna's there. So here's Sampdoria and Cremonese. Look pretty bad. Then Spezia, Verona, Salatinio. But Sassuola's goal differential is not that bad. They may survive. Lecce. Juventus, I'm not sure if their goal differential's off there. Anyway, Napoli's pretty far ahead. Lazio's looking good. Inter Milan, Atalanta, AC Milan, Roma, Udinese. So hopefully Udinese can slip into a European slot. That would be really nice. But so he was a starting defender that was cheap, but and decent, but I may not use him. But this Luperto, I think I liked a little better. He's from Empoli, I believe, and you can see his numbers there. He's only 25 as well. So I got a lot of younger players. When I started off with La Liga, I got a little bit older in Germany, but then I started just filling these in with younger because I knew I didn't have a goalie on these anyway right now. So what I had to do on those, and you can see I'm well below the total, so I didn't want to spend that. I didn't have that much in there I wanted to spend. I didn't want to put any more money in. But you can see, like I showed my La Liga one. I showed my Bundesliga. So like the Serie A, I already had I have a good goalie who's 52, Provedal from Lazio. So when you stick in those players, I'm 35 points under, but I do want to upgrade him. But you want to be closer to that total. You want to probably be within 10 points of that total to have theoretically on paper a good team. But I do have a little mini stack there. Not looking particularly at this matchup this week, but I think it is a good matchup. And probably going to replace him with somebody, and then I can use him in whatever lineup I want. So I'm using the goalie there. So the point is though, if I had a Serie A goalie, then I could use any common from Serie A in my lineup. And then the French, same thing. There I have this Diao, who's from Claremont. And he's had 2 great games in a row. 74-66. So for now, him. Then I have Witeska, Chirivella, and then these two are both on Brest. I mean, how would you pronounce it if it's not Brest? But it's, I mean, I say Brest, Brestois. And made him the captain, Kamara. So you can see I'm 40 points under there, so I'm a good deal under on those two. But it's kind of like I just want to field a team and see how it goes. And then I can end up using these in different ones if I want to. None of them are under 23, unfortunately, qualified because those are more expensive. I was really scouring the under 23, and I did find a couple promising players. I may do a report on that, a little report on that. So let's see here. So I bought a lot of cards, basically. Let's see. Let's see which ones I wanted to show. Yeah, so this was the one mistake because he's not starting, or he's not projected to start. I didn't realize that, and I think the information I bought this one before the midweek, like early in the week, and I was looking at this, and I thought I saw that he was projected to start, but now he's subbing again, so I may dump him. I mean, he can put up really good points. By the way, if you look at the 6 months right now, because everything's unlocked right now, all the premium stuff's unlocked now. So 6 months basically covers this season. So that was a mistake. I'm not a fan. That was a bad purchase, and this Unal to some degree. Then, but Unal, finding forwards for reasonable prices is tricky. You can go back and see where he was. I mean, he was a lot more expensive. We'll see how it goes. You can see he does have a lot of good games, so hopefully he'll get it back going again here. I mean, they've been on a bad run. They need to turn that around, but you can see he can put up some good points. Let's see on the 6 month. Yeah, I mean, he's kind of going to be relying. He has 5 goals and 3 assists, though. That's pretty good for a forward. And this Document's the one I got a long time ago when I was flipping like small cards. I mean, let's see where I bought that at. I bought that back here in January of 2021. 2022? Yeah, January of last year. And you can see he had a huge run up. He had a big run up there. I would have flipped him. That's probably about where I stopped playing this real hard. I would have flipped him. If they go from 9 to 20, I'll flip them. But this guy's kind of an under radar good player. Dakonam. And now it all depends on if Getafe can survive, but good defender. And he's like one of their mainstays on the team. Okay, so then the goalie, like I said, Fernandez, he's actually gone up in value already. Goalies are generally going to be over 30 years old. Got some good games recently. He moved in. I'm not sure if he was out for whatever reason. I looked up some of these, but he may have been given the starting. I think they got rid of their other keeper actually, but I'd have to double check. But he's looking good. He's one of the more bargain ones in the Liga. Let's see here. Then the next one, the first one I think, or then the next one I did was the Bundesliga. So this Giekewicz, which is a Polish name, he is Polish. So one thing you want to do when you look at the scores, if you have the premium going, is you can take out like any time he played with Poland. And in his case, he didn't, but you can take out the World Cup games. You can just do it by when they just played for that team in the 6 months. So he's got some good scores in there. Hopefully their team can turn it on. Let's see. And if you look at goalies, they can go for a lot. 100 bucks. Go back even longer. I'm sure it's even higher than that. Okay, so then forward Richter, 25 years old. You can see he's basically traded around this 5 to 15. over the last 6 months. Pretty cheap. So last 6 months, he's had several good games, 3 goals, 2 assists. Basically this season. Remember the big break in the season. And some of these people are just getting back up to par. So I went with him for a cheap one. Midfielder Florian Kahn's on Cologne. So here was a guy that was a lot more expensive 6 months ago. So maybe I could flip him later if he keeps doing well. Five goals, 6 assists. I mean, he can get them. You know, sometimes they say you want guys who can pop on a given week. Not a great all-around scores, but for the price. And then Vidmer on Mains. There's a couple outliers that are on there. Let's see. A couple outliers are messing that up. Let me see if I can get it better. Well, the outliers are sort of messing that up, but looks like he generally goes for between 5 and 15. So I got him real cheap. But he's actually good. The Bundesliga, there were some good bargains. If you look at his 6 months. Then take out the Switzerland here because he played for Switzerland, which actually he had good numbers for Switzerland, but he can do something for a defender. 2 goals. He's actually playing midfield, but his card is a defender, according to this. All right, so then moving on to the Ligue 1, France. Again, couldn't afford a goalie here at this point, or didn't want to buy one. The Le Duran from Brest, Stade Brestois. The French cards just came out then, it looks like. Been spiking because he's been starting and people getting excited about the new tournaments and all that. Four goals, 1 assist. Got some potential. He's young, 24. Cheap. Kamara, same team. Although he's listed Etienne here. His cards are very expensive, so he's a highly touted player at one time. His cards, I believe, well, yeah, you can see $50, $60 there. I'm not sure if I looked up Le Turan's ones together. And you can see his scores are good. His 5, 15, 40. However, he doesn't blow up a lot. So there's 6 months. You can see his AA and all that. You can see he's like steady getting like that, but can put up some good ones. He's like their, central midfield. You can see he's good, steady, good performer for cheap, and 24 years old. And I also looked at these teams like let me just look at his prices and see if he had a bigger spike, or maybe they just issued him not too long ago. Yeah, they just issued him then. It looks like he was up around 15. Now he's back down to 8, 9. And then Mateus, who's on the Polish national team, I believe. Let me see. Let's look at his prices real quick. So he's another one, 20, 15, 10. Got him back around 10. You can see his scores there. He's on Claremont. Been putting up nice, decent numbers there. He's got a goal, last man tackle, 1 error, 1 penalty conceded. I mean, he's got an assist. Good numbers for cheap. Just trying to fill in, some bargain guys. Chiravella was a little more. Midfielder on non because better team. There's always a premium for these ones that are on better teams. You can see he was 30, 20. Got him back down for like 13. He might have even been more than that. Yeah, I mean, here he was. Last spring, at this time, he was $70. So this might be a good potential candidate if they get a European slot or something like that, or either way, that might be a good one to end up flipping. Let's see. And again, he's only 24. So over 6 months, you can see the nice AA. He's had a big game recently with a goal. Pretty good floor. Or sorry, he had an assist. 2 assists. 1 error led to a goal. Pretty good on the overall like 15-40 type thing. That's where he really popped out on that. And then just go over. Let me see the other ones I bought. And the only other league was Serie A. And again, I mean, I saw guys that were less. I saw better players. They were just more expensive from what I wanted to pay at the current time. So Serie A didn't get a goalie. Got the 2 players from Udinese though for cheap. Isaac Success, what a great name. You can see he was 20, got him for around 10. That's just in the 6 months. In the year, 2020, he spikes up. Yeah, again, you can check that always to see if they played for other teams in the time period or if they played for the national team. Some good 60s. Not putting in a ton yet, only 4 assists, but he's the kind that looks like he could get some 60s and 70s to me if he continues to get the playing time. And then Wallace from the same team, 27 years old. Generally been between 5 and 15 over the 6 months. Going back 20, 25, 30. Going back 30, 35. Again, he's cheap. And he's again got a steady floor, got a little bit of there. He doesn't get any assists or goals. I'm not really sure why, but look at his. He's got some nice all arounds. He's a good player. And then Luperto defender on Empoli. 25. I can't read that one. I guess his cards just came out fairly recently, and he's gone up from 2, 3 up to 10 because people are looking for starters for these new contests, I assume. Reasonable ones from decent teams. And pretty new card. If you go over the 6 months, very nice numbers. Look at that for a defender. Did have 3 red cards. Oh, wow. He's got a little disciplinary issue to work on. It's 3 red cards in 6 months. But those are good numbers for a defender, especially center back. Look at those. 31. Look at those all arounds. So nice looking player there. And this one I may get a better one for him, but Suamaro on Bologna. He just came out as well. It's gone up from like 2 to 5. Yeah, I think I'm going to swap him out. That was one of the first ones I got when I wasn't sure how much I was going to have in my account. Yeah, he had a good game. Again, he's young. I got a lot. Oh, no, he's 30. I'm sorry. No, I'm definitely going to swap him out. I wouldn't recommend that one necessarily. Anyway, so those are the ones I picked up. Let's see. Yeah, so and then like PlaySharper can look at the lineups and projected scores. It depends on how accurate they are. All right, I don't want to go on too long here. So my Premier League, I went contrarian. My other ones, I sort of stuck with what I had on my other national teams. I picked up a German goalie and a Spanish goalie, and then filled out a team around them, and it allowed me to put Pedri into my Spanish 270 team and Kimmich into my German one. But then the other two, I don't have a goalie, so my teams are pretty far below the threshold, just based on what I wanted to spend. So if I'm going to use like a 50 goalie in those, then you want to spend more. But you can build a pretty good team, I think. Like, let's see. Like, just for example, like this French one, okay? If you have like Providal on your, you can have whoever, but I mean, you can have any of the goalkeepers, but like he's been a good one, and he's 52. So if you took him out, for example, if you have outfield players average of 54 each, you can fill this out nicely on the 15 day. You can fill this out pretty well. So if I take out this Suamero, who was a mistake, then I've got 76. So if I've got like a 50 player, I'm getting a little closer to that, or 55 player. Still not a super strong team, but considering somebody could have Messi as their captain, but he's 77. But anyway, that's the way, because we know goalkeepers are going to be $50 and plus. It's even hard to find them for 50 on this. I think I had him as my captain based on the matchup. And then if on the SorareData right now, because I don't have the premium normally, but let's see. Yeah, but they have these matchups those aren't particularly good. But let's see my German one, if those are better. Those are a little better. They have Kimmich as a D matchup, but I'll take him. So you can see, like, when you have your other cards, they'll have a pick score beta, which is sort of like their projection. They don't really give a projection, but it's player performance, card details in the upcoming game. So you can sort of use that, and you can look at, like, you obviously want to look and see if they're predicting them to start and things like that. And then again, searching for players, and it also shows, this lineup they don't have a score, but like I can see that, well, this lineup did get 300 points. I don't know if that's going to be enough to get in the money, but it did have 300 point lineups. My La Liga one, or my La Liga Pro one, not quite as good, but recently they've had some good ones up 300. My Serie A, not quite as good, but again, I'm swapping him out. None over 300, but got some high 200s. They don't have a threshold for these yet, as far as I know. I think they will soon, but then where's my French one? Thought I built that. Well, I know I built one, but I don't see it on there. All right. So that's basically it, guys. Good luck with the upcoming deal. Good luck with your Premier League team. Again, I think a lot of people are going to have Holland, Rashford, or Holland and Nketiah. A lot of them are going to have, in my opinion, Saka at 61, paired with somebody cheaper. I mean, Foden's 45, but he's not playing, or he's not starting right now. Chelsea bought a lot of amazing players, by the way. We'll have to see how they shake out. And then a lot of people are going to have Lisandro at 46, because he's starting to turn on. Trent Alexander at 57. Ake 54. Reece James is hurt. So you have to go through and see who you like in there. And then a lot of them are going to have Lloris. He's extremely high picked. And then a lot of people are taking Allison at 53. But I think Ederson at 48 might be a good deal. A lot of people are taking Ramsdale as well. So good luck with that. And hopefully they're going to have a global, like, ongoing leaderboard with better rewards, which I think they're going to. They just haven't put it up yet. Maybe they've announced it. I'm not sure. Anyway, that's the guys I bought. Hopefully they work out. fairly low risk on them, I think, but we'll have to see, and maybe I will be able to flip a couple. I didn't buy super speculative ones, but I'm willing to flip at times. Well, when I was really hardcore into this, like maybe 2 years ago, even. I had backup goalkeeper. I had one that went from 10 to 100, and I didn't sell it because I didn't check it for like 2 days. Backup goal. It was Michael Esser at one time, spiked massive, and I didn't sell it. And I definitely would have sold that. So I'm willing to flip virtually anything, but I also want to play and try to compete and win some limited cards. I won limited in the NBA, but have been terrible at winning limited in the football. I never did the academy. I didn't realize that was almost like a free limited, and I wasn't using very good data after a while. I haven't been following that much the last 6-9 months, but I got back into it with the Global Cup. Anyway, so good luck. Hopefully you'll find some of that informative. All right, have a good one.